Welcome everyone to this session on retrospective. So today we will be looking into how we can use retrospective as a continuous improvement item. And the purpose of this poll was just to get started, just to get the communication happening. And I can share the results. So this is how the results look like. So the people are motivated by technologies, people are motivated by learning, people are motivated by people, and people are motivated by adventure and new success. And anyone of you would like to say any words about the word that you have written? Anyone wants to share something on it?
Yeah, I'm motivated with adventure, and I should say it's a technological adventure. So I'm motivated with that.
Okay, nice. And anyone else who wants to share what motivates you?
So I have added learning, so continuous learning. So if I feel I'm not learning anything while working, then I lose motivation.
Yes, so continuous learning is one thing. Good. Thank you for participating. Now I will go to the another view and share the screen, which gives us the presentation. Working in the single computer, multiple windows. So let's see how that happens. Okay, I have to share screen, and here we have. I hope you can see my screen. Starting with the quote from Albert Einstein: if you are constantly doing the same thing over and over again, you should not expect a different results. And this is very much related to the things that we are doing in agile ways of working or in software development. We are building, if you're having the same communication, and if we are having the same type of technologies, nothing is different, then we should not expect anything different. If you look back like 10-15 years ago, most of the companies who are working on old products, they didn't adopt, and they couldn't survive it. Zishan, please help with this. If there is any question in the chat, please help me with that. I think there was also a message on the WhatsApp. So let's continue. So there is one scenario, and I really would like to have this session interactive. So it will not be only me who's talking, but I would really like that we have a two-way communication, that we get your insight as well, and then we base the conversation on that. So you see two points here. This is a kind of a problem occurred during first time. Let's suppose this is the timeline, and there are two problems occurred during week 1 and the second in mid of week 2. So what do you guys think? When should we fix them? So if you can unmute yourself and say, if your mic is not working, you can also write it actually. And then Zishan, hopefully you can help with that. Yeah. So what do you think? When should we fix these two issues?
In coming sprints, or you can in coming up sprints. This is my point of view.
Okay. Any other point of views?
I don't think so. There is no one is interested.
Yeah, so that's the point. We have to talk about these things so we spread the interest as well.
Right.
And there is no right and wrong answer. What we are having, the purpose of having this session and this conversation is to build a understanding and spread more interest. So you're right. We can fix it here, we can fix it here, or we can fix it here, or we can fix it here. However, when we look at the agile ways of working, it's better that you sooner identify the issue, and then you sooner fix it as well. So it can also happen that you found this issue. If this is the length of your sprint, 3 weeks, you can just fix this issue, yeah, right here, because you know we can fix it. Like, hey, we can fix it. So why do we need to wait for the end of the sprint? And it can also happen that, hey, this problem, which is identified during week 2, we have certain, we need to take care of some administration. We have to licensing, so many other things can happen. So we fix it here. However, it totally depends on the type of the issue that we have on the type of the issue that we're talking. We identify the issues, set the priority, and then we fix it accordingly. So if we move a scenario number 2, so this is a kind of an opposite side of how we have been working earlier in long cycles. Like in the traditional management, in the waterfall, that if these 2 issues were identified during week 1 or week 2, they were fixed here. So there is a long time that you have to wait to fix them, which is not actually good for the team, and which is not good for even the organization as well. So what do you think?
I agree, but I have a question on this basically. Like, for example, if there is some bug or something, is issues which is identified in the week 1, and some issues are identified in week 2, and we put it in the backlog, and we know, okay, like we need to be fixated on, and we already plan the week 1, plan week 2, and plan 3 and plan 4, and we put it the story points over there. But how we can justify, like, obviously we also schedule the week 1 and schedule 2, how we can put it these issues into the week 1, week 2, or week 3, week 4, because obviously it extends. We need more time to fix that issue, that we need more resources. How we can adjust it in 4 weeks, or which is either way we need a week 4, 5. This is my question.
I think this is a very common and really good question. So the example or the metaphor that I'm using right now here is just to give a sense of the timeline. And this is very common actually when we are in production, or like when we are in a sprint, we find something urgent, then how should we do that? And what I have experienced is that every team has their own way of doing that. Some have specific team, some they just, they have specific cushion within the sprint. Hey, if something urgent pops up, then we have to fix it. Yeah. Does that give you some help there? Because even though you have planned, but then it comes on how the PO, how the Scrum team decides when do we need to fix it, because then we have to talk and communicate. Does that answer your question, Adnan?
I don't know. I'm not talking about. I know. I can understand. Obviously, the Scrum team decided the way we need to fix it in this week or in this week. But obviously, it did take time, and most of the client have an issue regarding the time. I'm just mute.
Okay. Yeah. But however, it's a very valid question, and we can definitely dig upon it. We can look into more. Right now, I was just using this frame in order to tell when do we identify it, and when do we fix it, and which brings more value, and which is very much connected to the retrospective. So hopefully at the end of this session, or during that time, we can continue with that discussion. Moving forward. Yes. Could you please repeat? Okay, there was nothing.
Okay, I have changed my mic, so this is Zubair. So
yes.
Yes. So I'm saying that I think. Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me well. I'm going to repeat myself. I think another very important issue is to look at the sprint goal. If the issue that you have just surfaced, is it affecting the sprint goal or not? If it's is such that you cannot even achieve your sprint goal, then sure, you need to fix it immediately and even change the sprint goals, because again, if it is that
sorry, Zubair, we lost you in between. But let's come back to this point. Let's part that. Okay. Zishan, can we take a note on that and we can revisit it? Would that be fine?
Yeah, sure.
So let's continue. Yes, so coming to the topic, how to use Sprint Retrospective to create a continuous improvement culture. So we will be talking more on that. We'll be looking into that. A brief introduction. I've been in the software industry for like 15 years, and I like 10 years in the Agile, and I like it so much. And the reason I like it so much is because it gives you the opportunity to focus on your strengths, and based on the change, you can decide what next thing that you want to do. So far, I have been working in development, in QA, and then finally, I felt like, hey, I would like to focus more on coaching, facilitation, and learning designer. So for those people who are very much into certifications, here's a few of them. I just put it for sake of interest, because some people ask me to share that information. Moving forward, so this session is like a journey. Here we are as a team, beautiful scenery that I tried to draw. This could be one of our goals, how to have a continuous improvement culture. And I hope in this session, we get some inspiration, we get some good questions, and good conversation that can help us, hey, how we can have this kind of culture in our teams, in our organizations, even in our own self. We will be looking into why do we need to use a retrospective, and then the second is how to facilitate a good retrospective. What is part of it, and what do we do in a retro? So I just cut it from the retrospective to retro just to shorten the sentence, and then we will look into retrospective models, and at the end we will also take a look. Okay, how this is my personal view. How I have been using retrospective to encourage a continuous improvement culture. And remember, guys, I planned one quiz at the end of this session. So yeah, let's see who wins it. And whoever wins it, I thought, okay, I don't have any monetary gift to give you, but I would be really happy to book a session, like 1 or 2 hour session with you, and we can talk about anything. It could be coaching, it could be facilitation. So that will be one-on-one session, whoever wins that quiz.
That would be great. Sorry, ma'am, I have a call, so I'm back.
No worries. So stay focused, and I really look forward to helping you guys. So this quiz could be one way to let's get in touch.
Yeah, sure.
Nice. So a very, very, very quick overview for those of you who have already used Scrum. That is excellent. For those of you who have not used Scrum earlier, this is how the framework and the overall events look like. So we have the product backlog, a refinement, sprint planning, we have a sprint backlog, and then we have the daily Scrum event, and then we have the sprint execution, and then we have the sprint review, and the retrospective comes after the sprint review. So you see there like retrospective, sprint review, and the daily stand-up are given an inspect and adopt circle. Why do we, and does anyone wants to give an input? Why do we have those three as inspect and adopt? Okay, nevertheless, I need your help. Let's try to make this session as interactive as much, because then we can help each other learn more new things.
Sorry, I didn't get you on this point. Like, what do you actually asking about? The inspect or adopt? Sorry,
okay.
daily Scrum.
Okay,
what you asked actually?
I was asking if anyone wants to explain why these three events are kind of inspect and adopt.
Inspect and adopt, actually, no, not properly. Actually, I can explain it to you, but I have an idea about the daily Scrum, why we haven't need this daily Scrum. But inspect and adopt is mean obviously we are inspecting, and if there we find any issues, or if we find any dependencies, or if we find so in these phases actually we are getting we inspected the problem in this phase as well. We are inspecting problem in review meeting as well. We are inspecting problem or issues in the sprint retrospective. I think as per my understanding. and we adopt. Yeah.
Yeah, good, excellent. We will be touching about this inspect and adopt in the next slides as well. However, good to know that the sprint retrospective is the last activity, and it comes after the sprint review, and then we continue.
Just I want to ask a question here in last slide, and inspect and adopt. Is this not something like a spiral model in old software project management scenarios?
We will come to the inspect and adopt in a while, actually. I can explain more the inspect and adopt, because this will be coming in the next slide. Would that be fine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
sure, exactly.
Yes, when you're asking question, would be good to say your name, because I don't see the whole participant, so I can remember who asked that question, and definitely we can follow that up. Good. So why sprint retrospective? Does anyone want to say anything? Why do we do the sprint retrospective? Have you done that already, or do you know anything about it?
Yes, exactly. Once sprint is actually sprint is completed, then whole the team, including the product owner and the scrum master and the team, is basically review the whole sprint. What we go in well, what were going in, what going well in this sprint, and what wrong in this sprint, and discuss all these things. And if there's something changes in that, so we can putting and prioritize in that particular sprinting in this session.
Great. Anyone else wants to add anything to that? Okay, so again, no question or no comment or no opinion is a bad thing. You can express yourself. That's the barrier that we want to break in these kind of sessions. So don't even hesitate to ask any question or any comment. So moving forward, so let's look into the dictionary definition of retrospective. It's like looking back or dealing with the past events or situations. So when we are talking about the sprint retrospective in particular, which means that, hey, let's talk about how the sprint retrospective, how did it go? Are we happy? Are we sad? Or we don't, we don't know. And here we talk about the inspecting ourselves. And then we will talk more what exactly we inspect, how the work went during the last sprint. Yeah, so did we have a lot of issues? Was the communication smooth? Were we able to deliver something? Is the stakeholder happy? Is the team happy? Is the product owner happy? Did we have a good release? All these sort of things can come up here. Yeah. And then it's not only about talking what did we do well and what do we want to improve. However, we also need to create a plan for next improvement. So in this meeting, we talk about these things together. And now we're coming back to this inspect and adopt. Scrum is an empirical process. What does it mean is that we learn by doing. And once we do something, definitely we know more than before. So it's a kind of empirical process. And it's based on 3 pillars. First is the transparency, that is number 1. Second is inspection. And third is adaptation. So transparency means that we are not keeping any secrets, that we are keeping the knowledge to one person, we are keeping the decisions to the one person, but we are trying to make information as public as possible. How are we doing with our sprint burn down? What exactly is part of our sprint backlog? And who is working on those kind of items? Why this is important? Because if, for example, I am in a team and I have no clue what else is happening, then the problem could be, I don't know, actually, I cannot fully utilize my potential because I have no idea what the other team is talking. And if I don't have any idea, then I really cannot inspect it. In order to do something, I need to know. Would it be fine if you guys are not talking? You can mute yourself so the rest of the people can avoid this background noise. That will be nice. Thank you for that. And so the transparency, inspection, and the third thing is adaptation. For example, if we did something, we know about together as a team, we know that, hey, we accept that this was something we wanted to do. So adaptation is, if this was the initial plan we wanted to do, okay, do we need to take this different route, or we need to reach like this? So if this was the goal, perhaps we need to take a different route. It could be like, hey, the library that we selected for implementation, it is very expensive, or the integration is not very easy. Okay, but can we do something about it? Can we use another library? Or is it possible that we can build in-house library? Or the testing that we were doing, can we automate it ourselves? So just giving an example, so just to help understand that. Are you guys with me so far?
Yes, exactly. I have a question. Can I ask a question during your conversation?
Yes, we can do that. And one thing I wanted to highlight before that, I forgot to ask, even it was mentioned in the description, if you want to ask a question in Urdu, if that is if that makes you more comfortable, then don't hesitate to ask question in Urdu. We can mix the language. The ultimate purpose is we share the knowledge and have a conversation. So don't hesitate.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure, but I think is there any foreigner in our in the session or in the meeting? Then I think we need to go in the English. Otherwise, I think I can ask in Urdu language as well.
Yeah, since we are recording this session and this is for you guys, you can ask questions in any language. So we can mix it actually, so other people can also benefit from it.
Sure, चले you open it everything चले अच्छा मैं चले इस तरह थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन कर देता ताकि बाकी भी लोग उसको है ना वो समझ सकें और चीज़ों ट्रांसपेरेंसी में आपने कहा कि ट्रांसपेरेंसी में नॉर्मली जो है आप बड़ी क्लीनली बता देते हैं कि वेयर वी कैन स्टैंड, अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो आप सामने रख देते हैं क्लाइंट के यानी प्रोडक्ट ऑनर के सामने सारी चीज़ें, ठीक है ना। तो मेरा पहला सवाल तो ये है कि क्या क्लाइंट भी रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव में हो सकता है प्रोडक्ट ऑनर के अलावा, ठीक है ना। और क्योंकि नॉर्मली क्लाइंट जो है ना वो अवॉइड करते हैं इस तरह की मीटिंग, वो कहते हैं वो एंड ऑफ चीजों को देख रहे होते हैं कि हमें बस एंड प्रोडक्ट से मतलब है, वो एक अपना प्रोडक्ट ऑनर को एक एलोकेट करते हैं लेकिन वो एंड देखते हैं। दूसरा मेरा सा सवाल ये है कि जो रिपोर्ट्स हैं हमें क्या पूरी रिपोर्ट्स भी शेयर करनी पड़ती हैं तमाम के तमाम उन क्लाइंट को सामने के जी यहाँ पे, और इस केस में अगर वो किसी से नाराज हो जाता है हमारी टीम से कि जी ये तो काम ही नहीं सही कर रहा, तो उस केस में फिर कैसे काउंटर करेंगे हम इन चीजों का, क्योंकि आप ट्रांसपेरेंट है, ठीक है। और अगर एक हमने एस्टिमेशन दी एक चीज की और जब हमने ड्यूरिंग स्प्रिंट हमें देखा कि वो तो काफी कॉम्प्लेक्स निकली और मतलब कॉम्प्लेक्स इस सेंस में निकली कि डेवलपर जो है वो 2 times उसको ज्यादा लग गया टाइम एज पर आवर एक्सपेक्टेड, तो उस केस में क्या रिएक्शन होते हैं इस केस में इसमें, ये मैं जानना चाहूँ।
Good. So you have a couple of questions. You asked about if client can be part of the sprint retrospective. It totally depends on the team actually. But when we talk about, we will definitely be talking in the next slides who is part of the meeting. It's totally up to the team. So even I had experience that I explicitly asked my team, hey, do you want that your manager joins the retrospective meeting? And they said no. They wanted to discuss it because the sprint retrospective is very much close to the team. The team, how did the team do it? And it might be a bit difficult in the start that they can invite any external person, but after, for example, once they become safe, when they have kind of a safety, they have built more trust. I mean, I know that teams have been having a lot of fun because then you're making transparency, but keep doing the transparency it's not easy actually. Yeah. Good. Let's move on. I hope that answers your question. I'll give some insight to that.
Yes, some sort of.
Great. Thank you. Yes, we can have like 1 or 2 questions on the slides. Otherwise, we might run over the time. But I'm available if we want to extend this session. But let's write those questions in the chat as well. So we don't want to lose all those nice questions, but we want to continue discussing them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the next is retrospective facilitation guide. So it's the retrospective is not that we enter a room, we discuss things and we leave. It's we need to facilitate it. And by facilitation, okay, using the pointer, by facilitation, what do I mean is that the person who's running the meeting or facilitating the meeting is on a neutral grounds. The facilitator wants the best interest of the team. So here, from my experience, I just came up with some small steps. How can we run this meeting actually? So the first thing is you need to set up the environment. And what do we mean by set up the environment? So for example, those who joined earlier, I asked a question. I asked them, okay, hey, what motivates you? And by doing so, it gives everyone a chance that they break their silence. I don't know, it was a study or some kind of observation, because if the people start talking right from the beginning, then they can be more comfortable during the session as well. So try those kind of things at the start. You can ask any question, actually. There are plenty of icebreaker questions. And the one is the team weather. Okay, how everyone is feeling. So the point is just to get the team started with some conversation so they don't feel hesitant. And don't forget to follow up the previous action points. It's useless if we decide something, however, we don't do anything about that. So it's very, very good to do that.
Just I want to ask, like, follow up previous action points से sir क्या मुराद है आपका? मुझे I don't want to understand.
So
like,
for example, yes, very nice question. For example, we had, this is our third retrospective, or fourth, or X retrospective. So let's follow up what we decided in previous retrospective. For example, if we say that we want to better, okay, one example could be, hey, we need to do this X thing. But then in the next, so if we draw here, so if this is your retrospective, and then this is another retrospective, and this is another retrospective, by asking the follow-up previous action is, you look back and check, have we done this action point or not? It could be, we wanted to document this thing so we can better communicate. Did we do that or not? So this is more of a team's responsibility. They said that we are spending 20 minutes in our daily stand-up, and we need to improve during this time. So then here, if this is the retrospective time, you can meeting, then you can ask that, hey team, in our previous retrospective, we decided that our daily stand-up should not extend 15 minutes. Are we able to do that or not? And then you check that. Yeah, that could be one example.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, fine. I got it. Like for example, you need to. लेकिन क्या इस पे cross check करते हैं? Your team जो है कि is a cross check ये यानी कि कोई भी बंदा cross check कर सकता है कि आपने last time जो है ना वो ये काम किया था और वो क्या मुझे check कराएं कि वो किया भी था कि नहीं किया था. ये मतलब है इसका.
It's not anyone. It's mostly empowering the team.
Right.
Definitely any external person can ask them, hey, I was looking at your board on your visual management board, and I thought that you have these action points. Was you able to do it or not? And if it's open space or like anyone can look at your board, then I think anyone can ask. However, it's the team who is mostly responsible, in my experience, that should be doing something actually. No one else, I mean, unless and until they have external dependency, I mean, I feel like it's more of a team thing that they need to self-inspect them.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine. You can continue.
Yes, nice. And the second point is select a retrospective model. Why I think this is important to do, because different models trigger the brain in different way. And in one of the incoming slides, we will talking about what are the different retrospective models. And that gives you to think from a different perspective and come up with action points. Third is the generate insights. Often we miss that thing. For example, what do we mean by that is if we have a card here, if we have things here and have things here, how do we find similarities in them? Is everyone talking about the communication, or is everyone talking about the manager who is disturbing them all the time? Do we have more cards about the timing? Where exactly, once you have done the retrospective, ask the team, hey, can we group them together based on similarities? Are we talking about the release? Are we talking about having a bad sprint planning? Are we talking about PO not clear in requirements? Are we talking about Scrum Master not Scrum Master is micromanaging, and these kind of feedback could be very valuable for the Scrum Master as well. So yes, so the fourth is, once we have done the environment, we have selected the retrospective model, we are generating insights, let's create a plan for that. And I feel like this is the most important thing. I mean, one of the most important thing. If we say that, hey, tomorrow we will have more productive discussion, but try to involve everyone, but we don't do anything about it, then nothing will happen. Actually, I'm sorry, things won't move. If it's like something that you commit when you go to the bed, hey, tomorrow I will wake up early, and you don't wake up early for the next whole month, then I mean, it won't help you. And the same is with the teams. If the team is all the time deciding action points, but they're not following up and they're not doing anything about it, then they will be just revolving around in the same point and just be happy about it. And they might be doing the retrospective for show off. So in this matter, the team needs to be really brave. They need to have the kind of commitment. If we say something, we need to do it together. So any questions for this retrospective facilitation guide? It's a huge topic, actually.
Yes, exactly. I have a question again on this creating an improvement plan. If someone, like, for example, we have a team is actually giving the the presentation or demo of the sprint, any sprint, and during sprint, actually a client is not happy with someone else. Like, for example, QA team. Actually, yeah, they're not checking blah 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 bugs. Then in that particular case, he can remove that any person or team members from on that in to improve the plan, or to improve the next the sprints. He can change the member in
you mean to say, can customer change the member in the team?
Yes, exactly. A customer, or as a Scrum Master, anyone. Just I want to know.
No, I am sorry, I could not understand you. Could you
for example, if we are going well, and but we have an issue with someone else, like, for example, one of our team member, customer is not happy with the QA team, for example. Everything development is going well, every working is well, but customer is not happy with the QA team, the QA guy, QA role. Whenever he retrospective team, then he come up with that general insight. Then in during project, he can replace the member.
I would say no. Actually, that will be a bit. In my opinion, that will be a bit terrible thing to do, because if the external people are forcing the team to do the certain way, then it clearly indicates that the team is not self-organized, the team is not trusted, the team is not empowered. It should be the team. If they so how we can, let's think about it, because if customer is unhappy about that, definitely that we should reach the team. And that's the point. That thing can be discussed in the room where the team is sitting together, and they can say, hey guys, last week or a few days ago, we received a feedback from the customer, and the customer is not happy. Okay, let's try to investigate why customer is not happy, what issues is facing, and let's see what we can do about it. Do we need to have more skill set? Do we need to help people to learn new things? But in a nutshell, I don't get a good feeling when the customer says that, hey, I don't like that person. That means that something is wrong in that culture. Even though we want to be very close to customer in an agile ways of working, however, if customer is telling in that direction, I would say customer also needs some coaching. Perhaps
I got it. This is your point. Like, for example, but obviously, customer is paying for this for the whole team. customer is paying your, for the whole project, and your customer, and we are on the basis of, team is basically based on, on the customer's, salary. And if customer is not happy, then in that particular case, how the scrum master or how the management will be make decision on this point? Actually,
Then
this
they,
is my.
so how they can do that? Excellent, because this is what we want to have, a continuous improvement culture, and those things can be discussed in retrospective. We can discuss those things in the retrospective. Now, when it comes to how to execute that, then it's a team or the management, they can decide well for that point. But when it says that customer can directly pinpoint that X person to remove it, I don't know, I don't get a good feeling. So I would say that try to understand the customer, and then the team and the management can discuss it together. What things can we do? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank
good.
And one more question, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can ask a lot of questions. Okay. One more question, like for example, I guess I already giving the sprint plan, planning, and then also we have a plan for the retrospective, to a review of the particular sprint. Should we create another day for this whole session, or including all the sprint? For example, we work like we create a week per week sprint. Like every week we have creating a sprints, and we work 5 days working days. So should we need to create another day of this session? This is actually my question.
Yeah, exactly. That is also very interesting way that if you are running the 1 week sprint, then you need to see, hey, how can we have all these meetings together? Should we have 2 weeks instead? Because in my experience, we have been working with 2 weeks and 1 week. So yeah, you can, I mean, it's good that you have the retrospective before the sprint planning, so that you can decide, hey, this is something that we discussed. This is what our improvement plan, and this is how we want to incorporate that in our sprint backlog and in the sprint. Yeah. So it would be good to squeeze it as a part of the sprint, not as an external. I mean, that's my opinion, not an external meeting. Yeah.
Okay, fine. It means that this day is basically the whole days you are doing this, only reviewing your sprint and do nothing else. The whole team is actually just
I
planning
mean, not a whole day actually, but
but obviously the client actually in perspective, obviously if you are in the meeting, then the whole day is wasting. That's why actually if client is also involved in it, so it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, that's where the facilitator comes into the play. The facilitator's role is to how to best run this meeting. And according to the Scrum guide, you can have for 1 month sprint, actually, you can have 3 hours of discussion. And trust me, people just start sleeping after 45 minutes. So I am not sure how you can run it for 1 whole day. Then you need to plan it. Then that might not be a retrospective, that might be a reflection day. What we want to achieve.
Right.
Right, interesting. Does anyone else have a question? We can take one more question from someone else if you you have it.
No, you can.
Actually, hello, Khurram, Junaid here.
Yes, Junaid.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Okay, now we can't hear you. Okay, Zishan, can we take care of question from Junaid afterwards?
Yes, sure.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just want to know, are you going to present some models for retrospective as well, some games for it?
Yes, that will be in coming slides. Yeah, we a bit took more time because this is also key, but we'll try to give some insights here. So let's move forward and we will move.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, coming to the same question that we covered. Who is part of the retrospective? So, okay, this is the Scrum team. The development team is a part of the retrospective, Scrum Master, and the product owner. And as I mentioned earlier, it's always good to start with the team only, actually. Even, I mean, sometimes I have been excluding PO as well. But then as a Scrum Master, I had a very close communication with the team. Hey guys, should we have a product owner here? Because earlier in my experience, some team members were not happy with the product owner. So then what happened, Then they gave a feedback to me, and then I gave a feedback to that person. And after a while, when then the things started improving, we invited the PO as well. And they actually, one of the PO that I worked with, he was very glad that he received the feedback, and based on that, we improved. And if you want to have someone from external person, please ensure that person does not influence or doesn't overtake your meeting, because that is very much possible. Because in this conversation, someone said that client is paying for us. So when that kind of mindset is there, hey, client is paying. For example, if I am a client and hey, I'm paying you guys, so I can say whatever I want to do. Sorry guys, that will be a disaster for your team, because they will lose motivation. In my experience, they feel like a bit command and control thing. So gauge that. Find that right time when you need to involve other people. And that's good actually, because then they can think together. We can work together. And the next thing is the time. As I mentioned earlier, 3 hours meeting for 1 month sprint. And yeah, for shorter sprints, the event is usually shorter. So the maximum amount of retrospective that I ever remember in my life was not more than 1.5 hours. Yeah. Because we are discussing a lot of things, and it's a mental exercise. And it's very important that you do things differently every time. Okay, moving forward. Yes, so what do we do in the retrospective? This is the key for the development team, for the Scrum team, and especially for the facilitator to know, in my opinion. There are 3 parts. First is the inspect part. Second is the identify and order. And the third is the create a plan. What do we discuss in the inspector? We discuss about the people. Hey, are people happy? Or they have good relationships? Are they not stressed? They are not sick? Everything is planned well? And how are we doing with our process? People happy? Relationships happy? Are we doing anything with the process? And how are we doing with the tools? I know some people were not happy with the Team Foundation server. Some people wanted to have a Jira. Some didn't want to use Trello. And even though someone wanted to use a physical board, someone wanted to use a digital board, and those smaller things actually affected the morale of the team very much. So this is just a kind of a guideline, and definitely there could be X, Y, and Z things that you can discuss, but just to give an insight. Next is what to identify and order. It could be the things that went well, because in the retrospective, it's not only about, hey, what didn't work, why it didn't work, but we also be feeling proud of all the good things that we have done together. Often it is neglected, the good things, but highlight that part as a Scrum Master or whoever is in the team is doing. Hey guys, I have been sometimes asking everyone, because I'm working with the remote teams, unmute themselves and let's clap together for the good things we have done. So everyone is like clapping and just to create a good environment. So this could be a good tip. Involve people, move people around. Yeah, and the second is the potential improvements. If we have a list of this thing and this thing and this thing, okay, this thing, then you can identify, hey, if this is something that we need to do, or this is something that we need to do, and which one will help us to improve further in our process, in our relationships, or whatever that item is. And third part, oh yes, not the third part, the experimentation, excellent. It came up here. Don't hesitate to experiment new things. If the team is hesitant to experiment, that clearly indicates that they are limiting themselves to do the things differently. And if you're not open to the experiments, then you won't discover new ways of finding, because this is very much core of Agile values and principles. We want to learn by doing. We want to find new ways of doing things by doing it. If you always follow the best practices, then you're just following a straight line. Okay, we do this, we did that, and we do that. But you can follow the line, but what explore here, what is here, and then perhaps you can do these things here and there. Good to have consensus within the team and also have a kind of involvement from the management as well. And this is very much related to the trust. And next one is the creating a plan, implementing the improvements. How do you want to implement that? We can always identify what are the impediments and what is the most important one to do. And then each team has a different way to implement that. So I don't have any silver bullet, but the most important thing is that ask the team, hey, how is it going with our plan? Do we need any help? Do we need to don't prioritize it? Do we need to prioritize it? Do we need help from the external person or XYZ? And experiment. Again, don't hesitate to try new things. And it could be in relationships, it could be in process. In my distributed teams, I have different ways to connect people. They are having bi-weekly pairing up together. And we are having the retrospective now and then to see how things are going. Yeah, we can take a question here. What do you think? Is it making any sense for you guys, or do you think it's out from planet Mars?
It came from Mars, but we can implement it here.
Okay, but do you think this is a kind of a good framework that could guide you?
Yes, exactly. That is ideal case, actually. This is the ideal situation.
Yeah, so this is nothing, I just pull things here and there from my own experience and just identify these three parts. Yeah, feel free to use this framework, but I will be grateful if you can just tag me along as well.
Can I share something?
Yes, absolutely. And who's this?
This is Zubair, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's regarding implementing improvements. We do retrospectives fairly regularly, and we have tried experimenting with a lot of things. One thing that we have learned is your implementation plan, the improvement, the number of improvements that you want to do. And we have learned that should not be more than 2 or 3 maximum points. Otherwise, it becomes too much to first inspect as well, and to see if you actually have improved on something or not. So we have now limited ourselves to maximum of 2 improvement points per sprint, and then we work on it to see if these things are working or not. Because we have we have these, we identified this 7 different points, and now let's create a plan. And then every time, just too much to do on top of everything else that's happening. So we, at least in our experiment, that works quite well now. We just reduce the improvement points to we prioritize them. It's not like we don't write the improvement plan, we do, but then we prioritize them. And then we pick the top one with the team. Okay, which are the top 2 items that we want to implement in the next sprint. And then we again retrospect in the next session to see if that worked out well or not. Just wanted to share this.
Yeah, Zubair, that is excellent point. I'm so happy that you brought it up here. Out of excitement, when we are in the high, we have an adrenaline hit, we want to do all the things together. And sometimes I have felt like in my teams as well, they select like almost 6 or 7 items to improve. But then you have to ask as a facilitator. Sometimes in my experience, in some projects, I let the team to do that actually, in a way that they self-realize, hey, I think 7 or 6 were together were too much. And these are the things that you can brought up in next retrospective as a question. Hey guys, in the previous retrospective, we selected 6 items. What do you think? Was that a good number? How many were we able to achieve? Were we able to give it a good focus? Ask all those powerful questions and let the team to explore their own potential. And yes, it's up to the team. Are they happy with 1? Are they happy with 2? Or happy with 3? Team, you guys decided together. But thanks for bringing it up, Zubair. Any other questions and any other experience that you want to share from your experience? Nevertheless, try these things and don't be afraid or don't hesitate to like, hey, what will happen? If something doesn't work as expected, trust me, you have learned something new. Now you know that that doesn't work. So don't be afraid to do that. Yes, the most important thing, once you have done something, don't forget to celebrate. As I mentioned earlier, we have been clapping together. We have been cutting cakes together just to give a good feeling. Hey, we implemented this improvement in our process. Let's have a tea together. Let's bring some cakes. And I mean, it shouldn't be a birthday party, but something smaller. The team can have their own tea party, something. But do celebrate. This is a motivation boost to everyone. So I think I can ask guys, have you guys celebrated your successes or improvement things that you have done?
Yes, exactly. Yes, we do.
How does that feel when you celebrate your success? How does that feel?
Definitely, everyone is. I think it's everyone is very excited and everyone feel good. I think nobody is someone is normal if they are not happy with the celebration on on his success.
Yeah. So when we are happy, that directly impacts our people and relationship.
Yes.
When we're happy, we are more open, and we share things. When we share things, we build a relationship, and when we have relationship, it becomes more comfortable to. It becomes more comfortable to ask. For example, hey, for example, John or Michael. I think this is not good. We can do it in a different way. Then you get an advantage of a friendly tone. Yeah. Good. Let's move forward. I feel like we might be running out of time, but I hope everyone is happy to extend it a bit more. There are a lot of more exciting stuff. So the journey that we started from here, we have crossed the fire, had a camping here. We discussed why do we need retrospective, how we want to facilitate it, and now we are here. Are you guys with me?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, we are with you.
Okay, perfect. That's good that we are camping together. And the next thing that we want to do is what to do in retrospective. Well, we already discussed that actually. So this should be moving here. I need to update my slides. And the next is the retrospective model that Junaid you asked. And the final, our destination is continuous improvement culture. Let's hope for that. So now coming to the retrospective models, I will be starting with very simple that you can just draw on your board, and then you can just get going within minutes actually. So the first one is not. So the first one, okay, I was muted actually. So this is a kind of a feeling retrospective. You can ask your team, hey, are you mad about a previous sprint? Are you happy? Are you sad? Could be, hey, I'm so mad that someone didn't commit. Someone committed the code without even testing it, and that caused me a lot of trouble. I had conflicts in the code, and then I have to test things again, and I almost wasted 2 days on that. So I'm very mad. And you can also say, hey, I'm glad because this guy helped me a lot actually. I was stuck, but then this guy helped me. And sad could be, okay, things are not good. Yeah, so we need to do something. Has anyone used this model before? Does it ring any bell?
We use a similar model, good, bad, and ugly. Yeah, but it's much like this.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear. So this is the model. Let's continue. The next one is Starfish model. Anyone use this Starfish model? Okay, nevertheless, now we can know more about it, and I look forward that you use it. And yeah, disclaimer: you don't need a real starfish, so we want to save some animals. They are already endangered. So the starfish, it's 5 things. Let's start from the top one. The things that we need to stop doing. Okay, this is not good. We are coming to the meetings late. We are extending our meetings, and this might be the case with this session, but we need to stop doing that. And what we need to start doing is be more open about giving these kind of feedbacks. And we can keep doing the good work that we are doing. And we need to do certain things more of, and we need to do certain things less of. So you can just draw this on a board. If this is your board, you can just draw this in this way, 5 legs. And then you can put some legends here, and people can start putting sticky notes after you give them time to do so. Yeah. What do you think about this model? Is it nice?
This one is really nice. I like the idea of adding the more of and less of.
Okay. Do you look forward trying it in your upcoming retrospective?
Yes.
Okay. Nice, nice.
Yeah,
yes.
I need to know more about it before implementing this in my company.
Yes. So just giving you the introduction to the models, you can just Google it and absolutely you'll find a lot of material actually. So that's right, Starfish model, and then you can use all these things. I have been using this a lot. Now I feel like Starfish is my friend. Okay, goodbye friend. We need to move to another model. This is a Sailboat model. Has anyone used this model before? Yeah, absolutely, Abdul Basit. No animal was harmed in previous slide. Yeah, so, okay, I need to use it. So the Sailboat model, as I mentioned earlier, if we use different metaphors, and I highly suggest that you use different models after trying that out, after a while. And if you think that this is our team, so what is motivating? So the metaphor for wind is the motivation, what is helping the team? And what are the things which are delaying the team? Is it the build process? Is it takes a lot of time to test? Or is it a very slow communication within the team? Or the PO is always busy? So all those kind of things. And rocks are the risks. Hey guys, if we don't do this, then we are in deep trouble. We need to do these features, and we need to have this improvement, and we need to talk more openly. We need to have good retrospectives because they are becoming as an impediment in our communication. And this lovely thing is the vision. Hey, what is our vision? What is the vision of this goal? What was the vision of this sprint? And what is our vision actually? How often do you talk about the vision of your team, by the way? Anyone have you guys talked about the vision of your team?
Sometimes we do.
Isn't it good to define a direction? Hey, this is the direction that we will be going. Yeah. So this is another Sailboat model. You can use it for sprint retrospective. You can also use it for the project retrospective as well. And I
have a question regarding the goal of vision. I believe the vision is for the product, and the goal is for current sprint. So, should we look for goal and vision as well, or should we look for the goal only?
I mean,
they got the answer in my question actually.
Excellent. So this is awesome, isn't it? Like you ask a question,
yes.
And then all the way that you get an answer. So it is always good to ask questions. Yeah, because then you relax yourself. Good. Moving forward, another one is the Sailboat, the hot air balloon model. It has 2 parts. Now you might have got the flow, the things which are keeping us up, and the things which are pushing us down. So the good things that we are doing, and the bad things, those are the burdens that we have on the balloon, which is not helping us to move on. Because if this is too much, then we need to cut something, and we can fly to our destination. And the third is the risks. Is the same. Okay, do we have any concerns from the team? Are we happy, or do we need to take something in the future? Yeah. Any questions about this? This is close to the Sailboat one.
All models are actually similar. So then why are they literally different? What is the difference between all these models?
Yeah, it is like you have almost the same ingredients of a cuisine. Okay, so for example, if we have, how many ways we can prepare a dish from chicken?
There are a lot of ways.
Exactly. So the ultimate purpose is to have the communication. When these models, they trigger the brain in certain way that, hey, if you are a balloon, what is pulling me down? Okay, things which are pulling me down is it takes me 1 hour to reach the office actually. Are we having 3 hours of meeting and boring meeting? This is keeping me down, is a morality. So they try to trigger you in a different way. Does it make any sense, Adnan?
Yes, exactly. Fine, good.
Yeah.
But I think we can use any model. But actually, the purpose is same.
Absolutely, you can use any model.
Right.
Good. And yeah, I have been working with the retrospective for a while. That I came up with my own models as well. I would not spend more time on it, but you can read more about. I have written blog posts, so I can share the links afterward. But in a nutshell, you can, excuse me. Yes, back. You can use the team weather, how the team is feeling. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they're not happy? They're raining. Okay, what are the impediments? What more things that we need to do, and what are the results that we are creating? So it's the same online. So yeah, I can share that, send the links afterwards in that WhatsApp chat, so that you guys can follow up. And the same is for another model that I created is the plain refuter model. This is more of a, what kind of uncertainty are we talking about? Because sometimes we don't know what we want to do. So this is called uncertainty matrix that you can, once you have this, the team has discussed the concerns, the risks, the unknowns, or the opportunities, and the gravity, the things which is pushing us down, you can map them here in the uncertainty matrix, and then try to see, for example, if you don't know how to do it, you know what to do it, but then you can just work a bit more, kind of have exploration for this part to, hey, how do we want to do that? And it can also happen that we know how to do that, but we don't know what to do that. But then you find your way to low uncertainty. I mean, uncertainty means that, high uncertainty means that you absolutely have no clue what's there. And the low uncertainty here, it means that things are clear. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, I can share the links for these two, so you can find more information on it. So moving forward, continuous improvement culture, how I have experience is that you can always talk about the improvements during your sprint retrospectives. We have also been having feature retrospective. Has any one of you done a feature retrospective, and just to see how the things went for a feature?
Most of the time, I think we are following the feature retrospective.
Okay, that is excellent. How does that feel when you have the feature retrospective?
Obviously, once any feature is actually accomplished with any feature, obviously team or mostly the excited level is more high than the sprint level.
Yeah, great. So these are different ways to use that.
Yeah.
And then the next is the release retrospective as well. Are you having good releases? Or is it taking a lot of time for you to just release a piece of code? And then, has any one of you done retrospective of your retrospectives?
No idea.
This is a good one. We sometimes do that during the retro. Actually, also look at the whole process of the retrospective.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a separate session, but yeah, I would do it as well.
Yeah. So what we have been doing is have been having the retrospective of retrospective, and we looked back and checked, hey, what was the good thing that we have been doing, and how good the thing different. Now what we need to, if we have been doing like this, but can we go like this or different way? Should we need new models? Do we need to have more physical activities? Do we need to have more fun games inside it? And that's where it can help you. So in one way, the retrospective, you can really use it as to incorporate improvement culture. Sometimes we have had actually, I forgot to mention, the meeting retrospective actually. So, hey, how are our meetings going? You can also that in a sprint retrospective, but you can also ask that in a different way. Yeah. Any comments?
Yes, this one is really mind-blowing, this slide. And I just want to know, can you guide about some questions for feature release or retrospective? Like we have for sprint retrospective, we have 3 questions: what went well, what didn't went well, and how we're going to improve it. So
what is your question?
these 3 questions, I just want to know, will these questions will be used for feature release and retro as well, or is there some additional question that you can suggest?
Oh man, I
for
mean,
this?
come on. I mean, you can use these models in actually all of these 4 points. You can definitely use them. But then,
Okay.
yeah, then you have to be more very specific to the topic actually, because those
Okay.
models, they are just kind of think about those as lanes on the road. So there is a high speed lane, the overtake lane, and then there's a middle lane. And if you have a third lane, you need to adjust yourself. And that's where the role of the facilitator comes. You need to be familiar with asking very open-ended and powerful questions. Just that, hey, if a manager is micromanaging you, what should we do? And why that person is micromanaging? Then you need to also establish that. But retrospective is a meeting where you can be more open and friendly and relaxed to discuss these kind of things. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Wow. Excellent. So we started from here. Where is my pointer? And we have covered all the way here. And then we are reached this, this mountain. Yeah. Nice. So retrospective, why we do that? What do we do in the retrospective? How to facilitate them? And what are the different retrospective models? That's what we have covered so far. And then we talked a bit about the continuous improvement culture, so this was kind of this point was, okay, a long line. I didn't want to do that. This point was just to connect all the dots between these points, how we can use it. Yes, so why not we do a retrospective of this session? What do you guys say?
Good idea.
Okay, let's
Yes,
do that.
sure.
I can share the link, and then you guys can feel. I'm sharing the link in the chat, so please join that. You don't need to log in actually, so you just join, and I can also share the screen. Yeah, so I have shared the link in the chat. So, okay, so this is a tool that sometimes I use. I don't know how many people have joined. So if you have joined, just write in the text, I have joined. So that will help us to understand if you're able to access it. So you should be able to see 4 columns. This is another model actually, which is loved, liked, learned, and lacked. So you can already start putting the cards, as you can see. What is the thing that you loved about this session? Oh, this is something, oh my God, I'm happy. Okay, what did you like about it? Okay, this was good. And did you learn something in this session or not? And definitely, this session is not perfect, and I did not intend it to be perfect. What do you suggest? How could we make this session more interactive and more fun? So let's take 2 minutes and let's give us some thoughts actually. So this could be a good activity for every one of us. And this is anonymous actually. We won't know who is writing that card. So don't worry about that. Okay, should we disclose it or do you need a few more minutes?
Well, I'm done.
Okay, let's disclose it. And yeah. So whoever has written, do you want to share why did you write it?
I wrote it. I just said it as well that I like the slide. The idea of doing retrospective for your releases and features and retro of your retrospective, I just liked it very much.
Great. And I don't want to pinpoint. This is open. We can take a few more minutes. Anyone, stage is open. Share. Just I don't need to ask you guys. Share.
So maybe, yeah, I'm not, so, okay. I wrote the one, how to do the distributed retros. Maybe this was a bit of introductory session to the retro, of course, is a big topic. I'm just hoping that maybe we'll follow up with another retro session where we'll just actually talk about different models and how to do, especially if you are a distributed team, how to do retros. For example, we use the fun retro regularly because we have team members at geographically different places. But again, there are challenges with these sort of online tools as well. So I was maybe hoping that maybe to talk about some recommendations, how to approach such retros, how to keep the people motivated, and still they all feel that they're part of the session. So this is probably again, it was again just 1 hour session. Maybe in the next session we could discuss these things as well.
Excellent. And yes, so I feel like don't need to point out distributed retros. Yes, we wanted to, as I mentioned, that the purpose. Why would it be okay if we continue this? We can talk about the distributed retros in our conversation on Slack or WhatsApp. What do you say?
I think it's fine as long as we discuss it anyway, right? So be it here or on Slack, as long as the topics are discussed.
So in a quick way, we are using Fun Retro and the stickies.io to use, but there are plenty of, if you have budget, then you can use that. And we can take one more person because there's one thing that is pending to conclude. We can take one more person who wants to share. You can do it. Whoever is thinking to talk, you just talk. Come on, we need one more person. We need to wrap up this session. Please help. Okay, nevertheless, I hope, so the next thing, if we wanted to do, let me do a check mark, is, we talked about a quiz actually. So I again ask every one of you to go to this link and tell me if you have joined it. Oh, wait, I think I did something wrong here. So excuse me for a minute because I should be starting here, not from the top. Yes, so can you access that link?
No.
Would you like to share this link into the chat?
Can you see the screen, by the way?
Yeah, I can access the website.
Yeah, so you have to go to the pollapp.com/ is the same link that we use in the start. I mean, if that was there already.
Yeah, it's up.
Okay,
Available.
so how many have joined? It's also anonymous. I don't know if you want to give your name, but that should be fine.
I have joined.
Okay, excellent. So those of you, the winner of this quiz will definitely have 1 or 2 hours of session with me. It could be a mentoring session or coaching session. So shall we start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Then, okay, this is the question, and you have 15 seconds to answer this question. They are very simple, actually. It should not be any problem. Yes.
Do I only need to click on it or what?
Yeah, you only need to click on it, press on it.
Okay.
Okay, that might be a bit late. So,
yeah,
but don't worry. So, yeah, that was the correct answer. Next, we go to, we skip it. We show it at the end. So next question is, who participated in Sprint Retrospective meeting? Okay. Yes, so it's the product owner, Scrum Master, and the development team, actually. Okay, the next one is Sprint Retrospective happens after which meeting in Scrum? Okay, let's see. Excellent. Next one is a sprint retrospective meeting has 3 parts. First is inspect, second is identify and order. Which one is the third one? Okay, 5 answers. Yeah, create a plan. Once we have inspected, we have identified and put an order on it, prioritize it. Third is the create a plan. Okay, for 1 month sprint, how long can be sprint retrospective meeting? Should 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours? Right, let's see that. Yeah, it is 3 hours actually. There is some formula, yeah, that you can. It's like it can be less or it could be 3. Oh yes, so here is the winner actually. The winner is guest 553.
That would be me.
And who is?
I joined late actually.
Okay, you joined late. Okay,
Yeah.
so sorry, Adnan, but nevertheless, we can always talk. So
Right.
it's guess what's your name? Sorry, guess.
It's Zubair.
Okay, Zubair, good. Congratulations, Zubair.
Thanks.
Shall we clap for Zubair for winning the quiz?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Excellent. And yeah, okay.
I mean, in my defense, I do have advanced Scrum Master certification, so I'd be embarrassed if I scored very low.
Okay, good.
But there is no comparison. There is no comparison. You are actually
Okay, and the last thing, yeah. So thank you very much for attending this session. I'm so glad that you had many other things to do. However, you selected to be part of this discussion for more than an hour. And I apologize from my side. We had a really good discussion, and I did not want to just stop it. But however, we did take a bit more time. But thank you very much for your patience. Yeah.
Thank you very much for you.
So that's brings us to the end of the session. Yes.
Yeah. So before we go, there are a couple of things I would like to highlight. So I have just scheduled one more session for next month, which is on a special topic, DevOps, Beyond Dev and Beyond Ops. So we have a guest speaker from UK. So speaker details and the session details will be uploaded to the meetup. So please watch that space.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fazishan, for sharing. And once again, thank you for participation. We have recorded this session, hopefully, and we will share the link in next 48 hours, hopefully. Thank you. Have a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye from my side.
Also, one more thing.
Thank you, Khurram, and thank you, Zishan.
So we also have certified Scrum Master training next month in Islamabad, and we have one more colleague who is doing the same training in Karachi as well. So if any of you are interested, feel free to join or pass it around in your circles. So this is only training in Pakistan with Scrum.
Why you are ignoring Lahore?
Sorry?
Why you are ignoring Lahore?
We did our very first one in Lahore. So last year in August, it was first ever Scrum Alliance training in Lahore. So I was there as well along with Zia Malik. So this is our second training. So that's why we picked up Islamabad.
Okay, let's continue these things afterwards. Absolutely. We will be having more session, but this was good to know that there are upcoming courses. Good. Should not take more time. Thank you very much for your participation, and bye from my side.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.